Today I want to talk to you about a line of spas called Be Well. As you know, we in our showrooms we carry the Arctic Spas Core, Classic and Custom series, but in addition to that we brought in this lineup, the Be Well lineup, to address a price point issue. We wanted a spa that could be in that lower end of the medium range for pricing so that we get more people into hot tubs. But because we're Arctic and we want product that's going to be suitable for all weather climates and stuff, I was tasked with the job of finding a line of spas that was quite similar to the way the Arctics are built. Now there's certainly some differences, but I wanted to go over, first of all, what's the same. So the core design of the product is the same in that Be Well utilizes the perimeter heat lock insulation system, meaning the insulation is primarily on the outside edges of the spa, and of course the cover being the top and the floor being the insulation on the bottom. So you have an insulated box and the equipment is inside that insulated box. Now, what's critically important is that we're able to do the heat transfer. So the shell of the spa from Be Well is actually built exactly the same way we build the Custom and Classic Series Arctic Spa shell, meaning that it's an acrylic with a vinyl ester skin coat and then a polyester fiberglass coating until it gets to a nice thickness where it's structurally sound. I wanted to take a minute to just show the inside of the no maintenance cabinet. Now, we've actually removed, on this side, we've removed the insulation so that you could see this, but you can see there's no foam on the shell. So like the Arctics, there's no foam on the shell, and this is a fiberglass shell. So if I put my hand on here, it's going to radiate the heat. This is like the hot water vessel, a hot water bottle inside an insulated box, and you can actually see what the insulation looks like when you look through the sides there. You can see it. It's the kind of SF type foam. It's got the metallized barrier to reflect cold away from it. So you got this, it's about a 2-inch barrier in here, and so this, and the floor has the insulation, this has the insulation, of course you have your cover on top. So it's a completely insulated box. It's not quite as robust of insulation as you'd have on Arctic with the spray foam, because the spray foam like seals every little crack, but I have to say it really does seal well. We actually have to, they've got little units that allow us to pull the stuff out because it fits so tightly, right? You see it has a solid substructure. But that the shell itself doesn't require any substructure. There's no beams or metal reinforcements under here or PVC pipes or wood or anything like that. It's a self-supporting hull. And that's really important because if I start putting stuff underneath there, then this shell can flex and that can cause cracking over the long term, right? So it's a really well-built product. Uses the exact same pumps we're using on the top of the line Arctics, using the exact same equipment pack that we use on Core and Classic. Just a really great spa. Now these are also built in Canada. These are built right in Lachute, Quebec, and it's an excellent facility. They build spas for cold places just like Arctic does. They're kind of an up-and-coming spa manufacturer. I guess I kind of see them as like an Arctic Light. But what I like about them is they're a very feature-rich product line. The electronics that they're using on these are the same manufacturer, Gecko Electronics, the YE5 series, which is what we use on the Core product as well as on the Classic product for Arctics. So it's the same electronic controls. In fact, the top sides that they use is a step up than we use on either Core or Classic. So it's a really nice top side. In fact, on the Maple series and on the 920 product, it's using a full touchscreen, which we'll see when we go through the individual models. But Be Well uses no maintenance cabinetry on all of their spas, and you can see it's a really nice looking product. It uses the under the lip style, which is like on a Core, and basically it's the industry standard now. Most companies don't use the top and bottom rails, so that's one difference you'll see between the Arctic Classic and the Arctic Custom Series spas. The filtration system is utilizing that kind of active skimmer concept. It's a standard generic filter that I like, so it can utilize our Silver Sentinel filter or depth filters. The Be Well product also has the built-in headrest. Really nice designed molds. One of the things I like about the Be Well product is that when they put lounges in the spa, they follow the same philosophy Arctic does, which is we don't have these seats tilted back too far. We want you sitting more in an upright position with the legs extended out when you're in a lounge, because if we tilt it back too far, then what ends up happening is that your bottom lifts up and you fly out of the seat, particularly when you have jets and bubbles and stuff lifting you up out of the lounge. So these upright lounges are really, really a good use of space. As well, you sit in the spa in a way that you're not going to float out. So we want to be able to massage you. That's how we do it. You see there's an excellent distribution of jets. All of the Be Wells that we're bringing in have a lot of jets in them. They have at least 2 pumps. On many of the series, they also have a blower in them as well. Some have the blower. I think actually maybe only the 354 has the blower in it, which gives you a 3rd pump actually. We like the fact that everything that is used in the spa is very similar to what we have in the Arctic. So for our technicians, it's very easy for us to repair. They have access panels from all sides, the same as on Arctics, so that if we have to get into one of the sides that maybe the equipment's not at, we can still get into that side. And as you can see, there's a lot of jets in the spa, so being able to access from all sides allows us over time, if we ever have to address a leak or if we ever have to repair any fittings or anything like that, it's easy enough for us to be able to do that. Another thing that I think is really great about their spa is that, like Arctic, they believe that you need a nice big thick cover on top, and I can't stress this enough. In cold places, the lid of the spa is your attic, so it's where most of the heat escapes on spas. So having a nice thick cover is going to give you better insulation. It's also going to be able to handle snow load better. It is a tapered cover, so that allows water to run off of the cover, so there's a good taper on there. The cover does have built-in locks that affix to the side of the cabinet, and we recommend everybody get a lifter mounted system. This creates a barrier from one side. It also keeps the cover from slamming down into the ground and eventually wearing out that way, right? It's made with nice marine grade vinyl that has a -20 cold crack. So it's a great cover, comparable to what we have. It doesn't have the Milovac like we have on the custom and classic series spas, but it's still every bit as good as any cover that anybody else out there offers, and I would say it's even better than the covers that are offered on the Core Series Arctic spas. So it's a very good cover. Drains to allow water to drain through so it doesn't absorb water that way. This spa itself is just an excellent layout. The fittings and stuff that are utilized are all industry standard fittings. It's got underwater lighting, backlit fittings, so your top fittings and stuff are backlit. There's water features built in as well. It's just the Be Well line is an excellent value for the money that you spend lineup. Okay, so the 354 is side-by-side lounge spa. This is a spa that was recently featured on Czech TV and the radio station, the Q's Love Tub. So this is a really cool model. It's not a very large footprint. We're finding that about half of the people that we get through the doors are not really interested in the big party tubs anymore. They're interested in just a small tub for themselves. So this one we rate as a 3 to 4 person. It's a pretty cozy 4-person, but it's an unbelievably great 2-person spa. It features side-by-side loungers. So if you have a view, both of you can be looking at the view. The seating is slightly different. One sits up a little bit higher than the other. One's a little deeper. Both of the lounges sit upright, which is a feature that I think is really important. If you're looking at spas that have lounges in them, you want this design where the back sits up more, so that you're more like in a lazy boy chair position. You know, the back is up, but the foot part is out, or think of a chair with an ottoman at the end. That way you're sitting in a position that you can stay in the seat when the jetting's on. So there is a third seat in this spa that faces the two lounges. So if you do have some extra people and you want to be able to fit more people in the spa, you can. It is pretty cozy, but the nice thing is there's only going to be one person with their feet in the footwell area, because the other two are in the lounge seats. There is a high cool-off seat as well. This seat is nice for when you get overheated. You can sit up out of the water and cool off. It also makes a really good spot to enter and exit the spa. If you want to step in, use it as a step internally in the tub. Some people also like to get in on the lounge, so you can step on the bottom of either of the lounges to get in as well. Really just a nice layout of the spa itself. There's 3 air controls, so you can control the air to the individual seats, so one for each of the lounges and one for the seat that sits opposite the lounges. There is also a water feature here that's activated by this valve here that'll turn this water feature on. These are backlit. We'll show you when I get to the top side over there, going over the top side. And then with all spas that we sell, this spa is got ozone into it as well. We'll add our Saltron Mini salt system to it. So it's ozone salt, just like you'd get on any of our other spas. So it's a great little tub. What I like about it is we have a similar spa in the Arctic lineup in the Classic series called Timberwolf, and it is really virtually the same seating as the Timberwolf, but it comes at a price point that's a lot more attractive to a lot of people when you consider what you get. You know, you're getting 2 full water pumps in this spa. I believe it's 54 jets. I haven't counted them all, but yeah, there's an awful lot of jets in there. So this particular tub is the only one in our lineup that has a blower built into it. You know, one of the reasons I didn't promote blowers a lot on spas is they used to be quite loud. This one's quite, it's not very noisy, and it really does make the water move around a lot and gives you a nice gentle massage. It's also good to cool the water off in the summer months if you're finding your tub's a little too hot and you want to cool it off a few degrees. Turn the blower on for a little while. It gets everything moving and introduces air that's cooler than the water into the tub, and that'll help cool it down if you wanted to use it for that purpose as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the features from the topside control, so you can see how this thing works. Nice display, large enough, full color display. It even has animated icons. If I want to adjust, right now it's sitting at 98. If I wanted to increase the temperature, I just use the up arrow, and that's going to tell it to come on. And it initiates the jetting. You saw the skimmer. This would be normally the filtration mode as well. So usually for a few hours each day, by default, we usually like at least 4 hours up to 8 hours. It's going to filter on this low speed. This is when the spa would also be producing some heat from the motor that we'd be capturing and using to heat the spa with that heat lock, heat transfer. The topside itself allows me to control things like the lighting. So I can turn on and off the lighting. It's LED lighting. As you can see, the controls are backlit, and there's an underwater light as well. If I wanted to change the color, it's just in advance. So you just press it and it advances to the next one. There's color wheels. There's a bunch of standard colors built in. If I want my jet pump to come on high speed, back to low speed, the second jet pump, you can see that this one here is just water. The air has not been initiated. So if I open up the air control, that's going to bring air into the jets as well. Gives you a little more power. You see there's a water feature as well. So it's a backlit water feature. It's kind of a cool little feature. If I shut that pump off, that still runs off of pump 1. And that's on the low speed again. If I wanted to turn it off, I simply turn the valve. It lowers it down, shuts it off. You can see right now it's skimming the surface. This active skim filter is really nice because as people get in to the water and the water level rises, this is going to rise up to whatever that is. And it's going to allow stuff that's floating on the top to be skimmed into the filter itself, which is a really nice feature. It takes a generic filter from a size point of view, and so you can use our Silver Sentinel. You could use a traditional pleated filter if you want. I like the Silver Sentinel disposable filters just because they work extremely well, and it takes away one of the jobs that people don't like doing, which is cleaning filters. And really, they last up to 6 months, and they do an amazing job. Just makes it easier to look after. That's kind of a theme that we have with all of our spas, is we want to make sure that, you know, the maintenance of this doesn't become a chore. That's one of the main reasons why we like these salt systems and ozone systems, to help make it so that customers themselves don't have to do a lot. The top side is capable of switching the display. So if I'm inside and I want to control it, I can invert the display or turn the display the other way, depending on whether or not I'm trying to do play with the buttons from the outside or from the inside of the spa. And that's really all there is to the 354. It's a beautiful little tub. I did want to demo the blower. I mentioned the blower earlier, so I turn on the blower. You can hear, normally the blower has a really loud kind of vacuum cleaner sound to it, but this one's a completely silent blower. I'm very impressed with it. I stopped pushing blowers a long time ago because, you know, you'd be lying in there and you're listening to this sound that sounds like a vacuum cleaner. It wasn't really a relaxing sound. Now the only sound that you're hearing is actually the movement of the water. So if you're in there and you wanted to have a conversation, probably don't want that on. But you can see that's a really, lots of motion of water. It's a really soft massage. I quite like it. It also will cool the tub down. After about 30 or 40 seconds, it evacuates the air from inside the cabinet, which is heated, and then you'll start drawing in colder air. And that's pretty much it. It's fully programmable, so there's all kinds of water care stuff that we can do here. You can set a maintenance schedule. It has the date and time in it, so I can tell it that I want to have my filter cycles changed, or I want to change anything. It's all from a really nice display that's easy to control, easy for customers to see. The nice thing about color is we can actually have animated icons on there, so you can see, oh yeah, if I have the pumps running, for instance, you can actually see the icon moving around inside there, right on the top side display. You can see it spinning in there, and if I turn it to high, it actually keeps it spinning. If I turn on the second one, it starts spinning. If I initiate the blower, you can see the little bubbles coming on the display. It's really nice. You know, it's a long way from the air button days on the spas. So that's the B-Well 354. I think if you're looking for something that can fit into a tight spot, it's a really small footprint. It's something that for a couple, it gives you each your own lounge seat, so nobody's arguing about who gets the lounge or who doesn't get the lounge. Lots of features, lots of jetting for a small tub. This tub is really a loaded up model at a very reasonable price. It's one of the hottest sellers in our stores right now, so I encourage you to take advantage of the fact that we actually have these in stock as well. So, you know, put your name on one and let's get you into a hot tub quickly. The B-Well 354.